What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Coffeez for Closers, where success is served daily. Today, we have a special guest with over 3 decades of experience in the mortgage industry. He has been instrumental in steering Plaza Home Mortgage's national sales, operations, and production, especially through challenging market cycles. Under his leadership, Plaza Home Mortgage has become a destination employer for seasoned sales professionals, known for stability and opportunity. Get ready for invaluable insights on mortgage banking and growth strategies from an industry leader. Please welcome Co-President of Plaza Home Mortgage, Jeff Leinan.
Joe, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for coming to the show. We appreciate you. We appreciate you for flying down here from Jacksonville, Florida. And, this is going to be a great opportunity for both of us. Jeff, we like to start the show the way we start the show every single time, which is we like to ask our guests, what is your morning routine?
What is my morning routine? Well, obviously get up and usually it's really coffee. Coffee quickly, right? Get that going, walk the dog, and then get going with the day, right? And see what I can do and figure out. I really try to prioritize at least 2 or 3 things that I want to get done every day, because I think most of us in life, we let life get in the way. So things happen. So if you don't have a plan, things will fill that time, and you'll feel like, oh, I'm busy, but am I really doing the things I need to do? So I really try to set each day and say, hey, listen, these are it could be 1 thing, could be 2 things, could be 3 things that I'm like, no matter what, I have to make progress on these things. This is forward progress for me. So those are really important for me. And then, because things happen, right? You fill in the time with, phone calls and complaints and whatever else. So for me, that's super critical. And then, because, one of my sayings is day turns into a week, turns into a month. And if you're not progressing the things you've got to get done, then you'll look back, you'll say, where did the time go? So super important that I keep those on my to-do list every day.
Couple top priorities, just bang them out.
Yep.
Nice. Now, you've been in the business for 3 decades.
Yes.
Okay, so you started what, in your teens, huh?
12. Yeah. I've been around for a while. Yep.
What got you started in the mortgage industry?
I think like a lot of people in the mortgage industry, it's a very financially rewarding industry, or can be.
Yeah.
And I think, we talk about this all the time. I don't think anybody goes to college or says, hey, I want to be in the mortgage industry. They don't go seek it out. They all fall into it somehow.
Yeah.
So for me, it's an interesting story. I went to college. I was studying finance. I had a marketing degree as well, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I was living in Seattle. I was born and raised in Seattle. And I showed up at this place, and this guy who graduated a year from me, he was driving a brand new RX-7. Well, back in the day, that was a great car. It was a really expensive sports car. So I walk up to him. I'm like, wow, that's a really nice car. What are you doing? He goes, oh, I'm a loan officer. I'm like, a loan officer? What's that? And he goes, and he's working at a bank, and he tells me all about it. Next thing you know, I'm talking to people, and 18 months later, 12 months later, I'm a loan officer. So I was driven financially into the industry, and then I started working on it. I'm like, this is a great job. It's a great combination of sales, marketing, and finance. So you're out, you're speaking to people, you're selling, you're marketing your products. But at the same time, you also are solving some fairly complex financial problems sometimes too. So I think for me, the combination of the two, and then the financial incentive, the ability to, set your own paycheck really at the end of the day was, super, super exciting for me.
So you didn't pick the mortgage industry; it kind of just picked you.
It picked me. I knew what I wanted to do, and it checked all the boxes.
Having a background in finance and marketing, that is like the perfect combination to enter the mortgage sector, especially more importantly, like those two, that combination now more than ever is that's what you need to succeed in the mortgage industry.
Yeah, the problems are complex that we face every day in the industry, the things we see, and they're actually getting more complex. But at the same token, you don't have any problems to solve if you have any business. So you have to try to find the blend of the two. Agreed.
Now, what year did you start at Plaza?
So I've been in Plaza. I started in 2008.
Okay.
A really great time in our industry.
How big was Plaza at the time when you started?
I don't remember exactly the size of our headcount at the time. We were, I think at the time just outside of the top 10 from a wholesale perspective. We've been around for 24 years, which is really a testament to our company and the leadership and our founders, because that doesn't happen a lot in our industry.
Yeah. And so you started, how many years ago you said at Plaza?
2008.
2008. So
Yeah.
about, 16 years. I know. Worst time ever to start.
Yeah, it was an interesting time period. I actually started in October, which is, for those of us who remember the financial crisis, that was right after the money market started freezing up, and it was really the worst of the worst. And
October 2008 was the worst time.
it was the absolute worst. So I started right after that, and I began, and then about 2 weeks later, they started the interest rate cuts, and then it was sort of off to the races from there.
Nice. Now, you chose Plaza Home Mortgage, or do they recruit you, or how'd you get started with them?
So interesting story. Most of my career has been spent with big banks. I was at JP Morgan Chase. I was at Washington Mutual, and obviously Washington Mutual closed during the financial crisis. So I was looking at the industry, and I'm like, the banks are not going to want to be in this space. For a lot of reasons. We knew that they weren't going to exit, so we knew I had to work for an independent mortgage banker. So I wanted to work with somebody that had good technology and the right opportunities. And so Kevin Parra, who's one of our founders, I've known him for a long, long time. So I'd reached out and asked him what opportunities exist and came aboard. And it really worked out well. It's been a great opportunity, great run.
Now you're currently the co-president of Plaza Mortgage. Mm-hmm. What would you attribute that level of success? How did you achieve that level of success at Plaza Home Mortgage?
I think it's really grinding. To be honest with you, I mean, it's a tough industry. And, it's feast or famine, as you know, right? There's times when it's just loans literally seem like they're falling out of trees, right?
Yeah.
And then we have a different set of problems. Then, how do we get loans through the system? How do we get them to the table? People are upset. It's taking too long. And those are relatively good problems.
Yeah.
But those markets come few and far between. And then we have other markets where it's, I need to go find business, right? I need to stimulate and create opportunities. And
that's been the case lately.
100% it's been the case lately. And I think we also saw a lot of people come into the business or do a lot of things in 2021 was busy, right? And so we've seen a lot of people exit, but we need to continue to probably see the industry right size a little more. Which is what's one of the interesting things about our industry. I think the peaks and valleys are really extreme, so it causes people to come in and people to leave. But I think it's really important that we figure out how we source business and grow, and I think that's really been one of the keys to success.
Now, where do you think you've developed that sense of such strong work ethic?
I think I think it starts with your parents, right? It starts growing up, and it starts, every generation wants to do better than the last generation.
Yep.
My parents worked really hard. My wife is actually from Cuba, and I'll tell you a quick story about them. It's super interesting. So my wife came over in 1962, and her father at the time, he owned a furniture company, and so he was making furniture by hand in wood, and he came over because he wanted to leave the regime. So he came over with $50 in his pocket, left his home, left everything, came over $50 in his pocket, 2 kids, and didn't have anything. First thing he did when he got to the country was he went and bought wood because he knew how to make things, and he built a hot dog cart. He started selling hot dogs. He then bought a Mr. Softy truck and then bought another one, and he continued to go. Then he found his way into the construction business and started developing homes. And he's 89 now, but when he retired about 5 or 6 years ago, he was building 80 to 100 homes a year.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is really...
He worked till he was 85.
He worked till he was 85, and he still works. I mean, he's got a real estate portfolio, but he's not day to day. But, this country has a lot of opportunity, and I think if you work hard and you see it, you can do a lot. You can accomplish a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Something I notice as a common trait with the entrepreneurs that I have on the show is that they just outgrind everybody, and everyone has different inspiration. Like I'm an immigrant, so I have what I call like an immigrant mindset or immigrant work ethic. And my father, who's still he's 73 now, still works every single day. As a physician, like he's just like something in that mindset of immigrants. Your husband, your wife's father, who's worked basically still till this day, 90 years old, almost still grinding every day. It's just, that sort of mindset is something that's very, very hard to instill in our children. How do you think you're instilling that grit mindset now into your children?
That is a super good question and a really hard one. So I have one son. He's 22 years old. He just graduated college, and then started his first job on Monday. Actually, he's working for a consulting company in
Okay.
Virginia, and I don't know if you can instill it. You can try, but I think some of it's innate, and I think he's watched my wife's family, and he's watched me over the years, and especially in the mortgage industry where we mentioned it's feast or famine.
Yeah.
So when times are good, it's great, but when times are bad, you're always you're double grinding.
Yeah. They're
So
not going to the Ritz this time. They're going to eat top ramen.
exactly. Like, why did we go to the Ritz last year, and this year, we're at the Motel 6 down the street here, right? So I think you do your best. I think you set goals for the kids. I actually rewarded my son for grades, and I rewarded him all along the way for accomplishing things. So I wanted to show him that there was efforts for working hard, and I think that's about all you can do.
Now, 2008, I want to talk about some of the challenges you faced at Plaza in like '08, 2009, 2010, and then are they correlated, or do you think they're similar to the challenges we're facing this time?
I think it's a little different. I think 2008, 9, and 10, the mortgage broker industry as a general was kind of under fire. Obviously, compliance was a really big deal. Underwriting was really tough, as you probably remember, and it was a different environment. There wasn't wholesalers had really sort of dramatically reduced, or they were on their way. They were exiting, right? So there was less competition.
Yeah.
I think today's challenge is a little different. I think today's challenge, people need to realize that a couple things. One, the world's changed. You can't walk into an office and find 6 or 7 people anymore. You have to go find the people.
Yeah. Unless you come here, and then there's a ton. You walk into a
you hear
stampede of humans.
But there's a lot of offices people just aren't going, right? It's remote, and you got to meet them at Starbucks. You got to find whatever. We have in our company, we have our own set of unique opportunities with remote environment. People are like, hey, you know what? I want to. I miss going to the barbecue. I miss having this. I miss having that. But in the same token, I'm never coming back to the office, right? Or I don't want to come back to the office. So that creates a different environment. But I think overall, the mortgage industry is continuing to evolve and change. So as different as it gets, it also stays the same. And what I mean by that is people still need to solve problems, and they still want connections and relationships. It's just how you go about establishing those relationships has changed, right? Social media is a part of it. Where am I seeing you? When can we connect? How can we connect? The phone, it's just, life's changed. And I think for most people, they have to evolve and see that I still need to connect with people. I'm going to do it a little differently now. So I think that's really important. And then just, the mortgage industry as a general, you've got obviously a really big, strong purchase market. Got people who have challenges in it. They don't have the down payment, or they've got credit concerns or whatever. So that, it's really about product, I think, and finding things that allow people to get into homes.
I love it. Now, you've seen a lot of success. Obviously, you're the co-president of Plaza Home Mortgage, one of the largest mortgage companies in the country. What do you foresee in the future for the mortgage industry?
It's interesting. I think not a lot of tremendous changes. I think probably a little bit more consolidation still. We're still coming off of the 2020 highs, I think. So we'll probably continue to see a little more of that. I think that technology will continue to play a big role, right? We'll continue to source borrowers, from different ways than we have in the past. And I think that really is kind of the keys. It's kind of what I mentioned earlier. As different as it still stays the same. It's just we're going to go about things differently.
Yeah.
So I think technology will continue to play a big role, but borrowers still want to connect with people. They want that trust factor. NAR, National Association of Realtors, always has great data, and one of the things that they showed recently was that aside from friends and family and other transactions, the majority, and I can't remember the exact number, but it was really high. It was like 92%, when 6% were family relatives. They still want to use a realtor, even though they could Probably not. They could go online and find where they want, but they want that knowledge, and they want that feeling of security. They want that person to help them through the process. They want that coaching.
Yeah.
And they're willing to pay for it, right? They need that and want that.
I mean, putting that all back on the homeowner is a lot. And that's just additional stress because the home buying process is very stressful to begin with.
Yes, 100%. They need that expertise.
So not having we all don't need a personal trainer, but if you have a personal trainer, it's much better than working out on your own.
100%.
Yeah. Someone correcting your format, because you deadlift wrong, you're breaking your back.
Right.
You're tweaking your back. You're out for 2 months. Not able to work out. So there's a lot of value to having someone coach you through the process and making sure that your form is correct the entire time, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that people need that, it and want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, do you think there's a specific skill or a mindset that someone entering the mortgage industry must have to succeed in this environment?
I think it depends on what role you're looking to fulfill. But if you're looking to be consumer facing, let's say, or production related, I think you have to be interpersonal. Obviously, you have to be able to explain things, and you have to be able to simplify things for people and find ways to help them understand. I played college tennis, and I taught tennis for a while. I thought I was going to be a tennis pro for a little while. But one of the things I learned in teaching tennis is you have to be able to say the same thing 5 different ways. Because I say it one way, it doesn't resonate. I say it another way, it doesn't resonate. And finally, on the 4th time, oh, now you have it. So I said it a different way, and now it's clicking for you. So I think that's a good, important skill is you have to be able to communicate with people and find a way that they understand and it resonates with them. Because at the end of the day, you're helping people achieve their dreams. Whether it's home ownership, refinance, whatever it is, you're helping them achieve their dreams. And so you want to help them. You need to be able to communicate really well.
Now, you've seen a lot of success as the co-president of Plaza, and you really don't have to grind as hard as you grind now, but how do you continue to find that motivation to grind as hard as you do?
Because I love it. I love the industry. I love what we do. I love that we help people every day. We're helping business owners. We're helping them succeed in their business. We're helping put homeowners, many of them first-time homeowners, into homes. So we really get to help a lot of people. And I think that just keeps me going. Also our team, right? I love helping our team be successful. It's a challenging market. There's no doubt about it. So helping our salespeople, our account executives, our management team, finding ways to help them grow their business, keeping them uplifted every day really keeps me excited. So
now you mentioned earlier that Plaza Home Mortgage has very good technology. Mm-hmm. How is Plaza right now utilizing AI?
That's really good. We're actually formulating our AI plan right now. We'll probably use a lot of it internally first, just to source information, which we're working on currently. And we're still working on trying to figure out the best way. There's obviously a ton of AI tools out there, and we're still figuring out where best to deploy it, out to our client base. We'll first start internally.
You're not going to use it for decision-making, underwriting?
Not yet. We'll
reviewing the documents.
Yeah, we'll continue to watch that and see. We've deployed a lot of robots that do a lot of work for us today that we used to, employ, administrative people to help out. So we've saved a lot there. So we'll continue to review that and see what that looks like in the marketplace.
You guys have deployed robots already?
Yeah, we've got a lot of bots. Yeah.
Nice. So what are they doing for you?
Everything pretty much. Just give an example. When you order an FHA case number, that request used to come over and somebody would type in all those fields.
Yeah.
Now a bot does that and then takes the case and uploads it, sends it to the client, all automated.
That's awesome.
A lot of emails. We've really put everywhere we can. We have placed bots into place.
That's good. You guys are ahead of the curve ahead of a lot of lenders that are not implementing a lot of that stuff now. Now, what I've noticed with Plaza, you got a lot of great leadership, a lot of great talent. How are you fostering talent at Plaza?
Yeah, so talent's always about development. It's about helping them achieve their goals, the associate, whatever that goal may be, and I think it's about communication. I think ensuring that you have meetings, one-on-ones, is super important for both sides, right? To make sure that we're clearly communicating and we're as a company, we're helping the associate achieve their goals and dreams, and also the other side, the associate wants to make sure that they're helping the company move the needle to wherever we are. So I think communication is super important, and making sure that everyone's moving forward. So I think that's really it's key to a lot of things. It's
Yeah.
really the key in that process.
Now, one thing I noticed about Plaza, and one of the things, the key distinguishers with Plaza is that you guys are, you're willing to take bigger risks, especially in the decision process for loans. How important is taking risks to your organization?
Well, two things there. One, we are in the risk business. So, we say we're in the mortgage business. We're really in the risk business, whether it's credit risk, interest rate risk, whatever it may be. That's the business that we're in. So I don't think we take any more risk. I just think we're really good at evaluating it. So we're able to look at loans and say, you know what, XYZ company may not be comfortable, but we are comfortable because we feel like we can assess it better. And we've got more experience. We've been doing it for 24 years. We feel comfortable that these are transactions that we can properly say, that we think this is a good loan. So I think that's and we've really always focused ourselves on product. So when you have a lot of product variability, you need to be able to have a lot of underwriting expertise that can also kind of, follow that. So we do, I don't even know, 7 different renovation loan products, I think. We do reverse loans. We do all these other products. So you have to have expertise in each one of those to really be able to properly assess it. So.
Yeah, I mean, one thing you guys have done really, like where you guys just dominate the market, is the lower FICO FHA. How long have you guys been crushing that market?
We've been doing it quite a while. I don't know if I even remember the day, but we've been doing it for quite a while. We're really comfortable in that environment, and that space helps a lot of people, helps put people into homes.
Now tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, how'd you grow up? What was life like as a child for you?
Life was interesting. I grew up in Seattle.
Okay.
And my dad was a traveling salesperson. My mom worked.
Sales is in your blood.
Yeah, sales is in my blood, right? He traveled around, and my mom worked evenings at the bank, and it was a pretty typical childhood. And I grew up. I was playing tennis, as I mentioned, and played high school, played a little bit of college, and quickly realized that I loved Seattle, right? Beautiful place, beautiful part of the country. By the time I realized I wanted to kind of experience other parts of the country. So right after I graduated college, I moved to New York. Spent about 16 years there. And then, like all good New Yorkers, I eventually moved down to Florida a few years ago. So, I've kind of traveled.
Gonna take the weather.
Yeah. It's it's a little easier lifestyle, I'll call it, a little better weather. So that's it. I've been in this industry a long time. It's all I've ever done. Other than this and teaching tennis, all I've ever done. So I've really enjoyed it. As I mentioned earlier, I love helping the people. I love the complexities. Even as long as I've done this, there's things I come across every once in a while. I'm like, wow, I've never seen that before. I don't know how many.
Still always learning.
Yeah. I don't know how many industries you can say you've been doing this for, 30 years, and you're like, wow, I've never seen that before. So.
Such a unique business like that. It's just ever growing, ever growing. Now you're so busy all the time with work and the family and everything. What are some of the things you'd like to do to slow down?
Play tennis is a big one for me, right?
Still playing tennis.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's not pickleball now. It's still tennis.
Yeah, still tennis. Yeah. No, we've got some pretty good teams. We travel nationally sometimes, so we got some pretty good teams.
You're playing competitive tennis?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. No, I enjoy it. So I still play a lot of tennis. I don't really. I enjoy golf, but I don't really have time for it. That's kind of a major time commitment.
Yeah.
So I don't enjoy that as much. Family time, time at the beach. Obviously, spending time, with the kids. I think helping out in the community. Mal Washington is a good friend of mine. He was a former Wimbledon finalist, and he has a great foundation in Jacksonville. So my wife and I spend quite a bit of time with the inner city youth program there, helping there and working with them as much as we can.
So you serve a lot with them, huh?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
That's the point of our life, right? It's just to give back, to serve, do God's work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you played. Did you ever play professional tennis?
No. Played a couple years in college, and that was it.
So you played what? It was D1, D2?
Yeah, no, actually junior college at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to go to Division I, and I elected to go a different route for a while.
All right, cool. So pivoting a little bit now, what is your favorite quote?
So I've got a couple of them. One is sort of business related, and one is more sort of strategic, I guess. I'll start with the business related one, and I say this a lot. In fact, people have probably already heard me, and that is, bad news doesn't get better with age. In other words, if you have something you need to do and you don't want to do it, our natural inclination is to put it off, whether it's bad news or a task or whatever. I'm like, you have to just take care of that, right? Bad news does not get better with age. Just tackle it, be done. You'll feel better, and you'll go on. So that's sort of my day-to-day one that I try to live by, and I try to instill in people. And another one is actually from Michael Jordan. And he said, and hopefully I get this right, he said, talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. And that's sort of the slow, to me, that tells me the slow game wins, right? Be thoughtful, be methodical about your actions, and, long-term, you'll win.
Especially in our business, like you don't become the best lender by yourself.
No, 100%.
Like your team, and here at our organization, like collaboration is why we're winning. Community is why we're winning. We win together. We're 900 independent brokers in one organization that are just sharing all of our ideas, and all of our creative genius. So, that's a great quote.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's and I think it hopefully keeps you on task.
Now, what's the best piece of advice you ever received?
Best piece of advice I ever received. I don't know. It's probably going back to the quote I said, which is tackle the things you don't want to do first, right? Because we all have things, whether it's working out or whatever it is. Tackle the things that you really don't or are fearful or whatever it is. Just get it done, right? People put off going to the doctor because they're afraid what the doctor's going to say. I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure if you do have something, it's not going to get any better by itself. So just tackle it, get it done. And I think that's been really helpful for me over the years, because I think people generally tend to put off things that could be bad, or they don't want to handle things like that, especially if it involves other people and they know they're going to be upset. They're going to put that one off a little bit.
Yeah, there's a similar quote from Marcus Aurelius, a famous Stoic, and he said, "Swallow a toad in the morning."
Yep, absolutely.
Just
exact same thing. Yep.
Bang it out.
Yep.
Like swallow the toad in the morning.
Yep. You'll feel better and you can move on.
Now, if you were 20 years old, what would you tell your 20-year-old self to build wealth right now?
I would probably tell my 20-year-old self to buy real estate and just keep buying and don't ever sell.
Hold on to it.
Just keep accumulating and finding the opportunities. And I think the other thing too is when markets represent themselves, take action. 2008, 9, 10, there was a lot of real estate opportunities that happened as a result of that. There's been other markets over the years that there's been opportunities. So when you see those and you're like, wow, this is a really good deal, take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Go all in.
Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah, a lot of controversy around real estate always, right? And people are like, "Oh, do I buy? Do I not buy? The interest rates, the housing." Then like, buy.
Yes.
Simple solution, just buy. Up, down, left, right, like just buy it.
Yeah. Find the value, right?
Yeah.
Do your homework, right? Don't buy anything and everything, but do your homework, find the value, and I think it'll always make sense for you. And do your home, know what you're buying. So.
Now, this is a pretty controversial question, especially in the mortgage industry. How important do you think it is to go to college these days?
It's a really good question, actually. I think it's an individual choice, to be honest with you. I think you really have to decide whether it's right for you. And,
Yeah.
I think...
Did your kids go?
Absolutely. My son went 4 years and is probably going to go to graduate school because that's just what he wants to do and where he wants to study and the fields he wants to go into. But it's not necessary. I think that you
Tradesmen are making way more than college graduates.
I was just gonna say that. I have a good friend of mine and his son, and he was trying to figure out what to do, and I was trying to convince him to be a plumber, electrician. I'm like, that's
They're making $150 an hour now.
at least. I said that's the place to go, right?
Yeah.
If school's not for you, then there's certainly a lot of places that you can do really well if you're driven and you take some good advice.
Yeah. Now, I like to close out the show with a couple last questions, okay?
Sure.
This is a three-pronged question. Okay, what is a personal goal that you have for yourself? What's a business goal that you have for Plaza? And what's a family goal that you have for the family?
Okay.
You can answer them in any order.
Yeah. So, business goal. So, fourth quarter of last year, Plaza made it to the fourth largest wholesaler, according to Inside Mortgage Finance.
Wow.
Yeah. So my goal is to try to see if we can, go up one more chain on that ladder.
Get to 3. I mean, that's a big jump. What was what would you guys close out with in volume?
And for 2023?
Yeah.
I think total as a company, we were around 11 billion, so roughly, give or take. So,
and what do you think your numbers look like this year? Are you guys up?
I think we'll be fairly close to that number, right? It depends. We really only do third-party channels, wholesale correspondent, but I think we'll be pretty close to the same numbers.
About 11 billion.
Yeah, roughly.
And then what about for yourself personally?
Personally, I think it's, I set a lot of personal financial goals, I set a lot of personal, conditioning goals, weight, all the typical family stuff. So I'm not going to go through the whole ladder, but, I think I'll just say to continue to be the best version of me every day, right? Continue to exercise and work out and contribute to the company, contribute to my family. And, I've got a pretty good list of lengthy goals of independent things that I tried. And what I do is I set it out and I look at it every month, and cross off what I can, right? What I was able to accomplish, add some are kind of in perpetuity, but we'll continue to do that. I think it's really important to stay active today and continue to, do as much as we can.
And then for the family, any big family goals?
Yeah, probably mostly around my son. So my son, I think I just mentioned, he started his first job. We got him moved in. So a lot of change, bought him a car, moved into his new apartment, and just continue to support him and make sure he knows that we're here to help him and do whatever he needs to do himself. So, he moved to a new city and started a new job, and is commuting on a train when he wasn't used to it. So a lot of change. So
What city did you move to?
He moved to Arlington, Virginia.
Okay.
So he's moving in around, so he's kind of going through the DC area. So he's super, super excited about the opportunity, but I just want him to always know that we're here to help him. So,
how many kids you have?
Just one.
Just one boy?
Yep.
You did a great job, Son started a consulting company, going to grad school. I mean, you ran the race with your kids,
Yeah. So
it says a lot. It's a testament to you as a father.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks.
Now, my last question, and I like to ask everybody this question. When you're in front of the pearly gates, what do you think God's going to tell you?
God's going to hopefully look me in the eye and say two things. One, you always did what was right, and you did your best to help as many people as you could.
Love it.
So those are two things I really try to live by.
Jeff, it was a pleasure to have you. Thank you for coming on the show today. Coffeez for Closers, co-president of Plaza Home Mortgage. Awesome guest. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.